Hello there, Bloomers and friends. It's Rev Kev coming to you from the Bloom office, and I'm happy this afternoon to have Linda Toland, our team leader for worship and education, here with me. We're going over some of the things that we've been doing for Sunday morning worship. We're looking at the bulletin for Sunday, which the title for this Sunday is Soul Investment. But we've talked about a couple of slight changes that we've made in the worship service. Really, they're sort of additions in order to hopefully improve some of the things that we're doing. Improve isn't the right word. Change it a little bit and bring a little different dimension to a couple of points, don't you think?
Different dimension sounds good. Different dimension.
And basically what that is we have last week learned in worship a sung response that is comes from the Taizé tradition, although we're not using it exactly as Taizé would when you sing things over and over and over again as a way to establish a sense of prayer and a connection, such that you stop thinking about the words and basically have a connection with God in the singing. But we've instituted a response after our prayer time and before the offertory, where it's an opportunity for each of us in a sung way to say, "Oh God, receive my prayer. Oh God, receive my prayer. When I call, answer me. Oh God, receive my prayer. Oh God, receive my prayer. Come and listen to me." And that will be our transition then into the time of offering and meditation. Before we sing the doxology and as we receive our morning offering and spend time in meditation and prayer for those people that are gathered together and the people that are in our hearts around the world. The other thing that we talked about is I brought back a suggestion. Oh, by the way, the Taizé phrase is something I learned about it when I was in school up at San Francisco Theological Seminary, and this is something that we sang on 4 of the chapel services, and I liked it so much I wanted to bring it home. Another thing that I brought, I got this idea at General Synod, because this was a benediction that was used a few times at General Synod, and that is to have our benediction phrase, something that we will say time and again until the point that we have this memorized, is that we will say typically our worship is ended, our service begins, and then what does God need from us?
Simply do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God.
And that will be the response. That's the Micah 6:8 phrase. It's a little different than some of us might oftentimes hear it in our heads when we think, what does God require from us? But a more accurate and contemporary translation of that phrase is need. So it's interesting for us to think that God would have needs from us. And this is a way for us to realize that when we are doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly, we are connecting with God. So Linda and I have talked about this in the last several days, and I appreciate your leadership and support in doing this. We did this last week. How do you think it went?
I think it went well, and I hope we all memorize this so we can do it weekly. I like it.
And have it and not be as dependent, but we print things in order for it to be available to people who are new and able to be with us in the first time. So Linda, you've been open leader. You've been worship and education team leader now for how long?
About 2 months.
How's it feel?
Overwhelming? No.
Well, probably.
I am enjoying doing it, and I get to meet a lot of different people that I wouldn't otherwise have met, and I think we're moving along very smoothly.
I want to commend you for posting to your Facebook page homemade communion bread that you were experimenting with this past week. Is that something we might look forward to
yes,
in the future?
And next Sunday for communion, I think we will have doves on the communion, unleavened bread instead of crosses.
Well, that okay. there we have some examples of some of the biases of the pastor.
Exactly, yep. And I'm trying to please, so.
Oh, really? Okay. Now we'll submit this to our therapists and see what both of us are trying to do.
I ran across a recipe for unleavened communion bread, and I really enjoy baking bread, so I thought I would try this, and we've had a lot of conversations about what type of bread to serve at communion, and maybe this will be the one.
Well,
we'll try it.
I just really appreciate your taking the initiative and experimenting, and we're all in this together. That's a part of what communion is, and so I'm sure you'll get feedback.
Oh, I'm sure, but that's good. That's great.
And we'll learn. And summer is a fun time to experiment and try new things, so that's a part of what we're doing as well. So we hope you'll be with us this Sunday. As you can tell, it's a Communion Sunday. And if you can't be with us in spirit, in person, please be with us in spirit. And as always, please keep us in your prayers. And say a little extra prayer for Linda so that she adapts well to her role as worship and education team leader. So until next time, we'll see you then.
Bye.